sweet one bliss. Someone flicks me a back body. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strong, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Obviously, big up to the people. Big up to everyone that's tuned in, of course. As you can see, we don't even have Mr. Sports Entertainment, aka BNG, but we've got a tremendous last-minute sub. We've got obviously the co-host of the R&R Hour and also the top senior representative of Punchout Boxing, weighing in at, I'm not too sure how many pounds, but he is a world champion in my eyes. We've got Ra. How you doing, my brother?
Weighing in way above my peak fight weight, which is why I'm actually going to go to the gym straight after we've finished. That's why I've already got the old workout courtesy of D-Rock.
No, obviously, no. Big up to you and big up to D-Rock. And let's get a word from our sponsors, D-Rock. Yes, yes, yes. Obviously, big up to D-Rock working in association with them. So, guys, if you like what I'm wearing, if you like what Ra's wearing, just head over to the description, go into the D-Rock website, have a browse through. If there's something that you fancy, just remember to put in the discount code, which is iBoxingHub24, and you get 40% off everything. So that's 40% off everything. All right, Ra. Obviously, this is the midweek roundup. And we're not obviously going to do what everyone's been doing. We've pretty much spoke about the event, but we'll quickly just summarize, the event. We obviously went to 505's watch along party, and big up to you. We obviously saw you, the dance moves there live. Loved the energy. It was great to obviously have a team building with the team, but I kind of wanted you to just give your perspective of the overall event, the main event, and just give me your thoughts, man.
There's no doubt it was a tremendous event. Clearly, the fans were delighted to have Anthony Joshua, the biggest star in UK boxing over the past decade, having him back. Got that sellout crowd as a result. Obviously, a bit of fallout from it, which the promoters have been talking about. Some of these media people complaining they didn't get let in. But as Frank and Eddie pointed out, it's a Riyadh season event. Without their money, these events aren't happening. So they're well within their rights to decide who does and doesn't get an invite. I myself been on the receiving end of that. Didn't get allowed in. It's okay. I'm not going to cry about it. I'll buy a ticket as a fan and go as a fan. So I think some people got to just suck it up. That's the new power on the scene. So yeah, the main event was tremendous. The fight was brilliant. You don't need to put it down, as I said. A big keep it all week. I mean, yeah, the whole fight week event was brilliant. Stuff like the weighing at Trafalgar Square, things like that. We don't normally get, that sort of production value. But in terms of the actual card, when it was announced, I did say that some of those fights, they're good fights, but didn't think they weren't really significant in some ways. Guys like what we're seeing there, Kakachi against Warrington, in the end, it weren't even for a world title. We had Chamberlain against Padley. Great, great story for Padley. A guy come from the small hall scene, got a big opportunity. But again, what does it do for Chamberlain, who it was really for? It weren't really doing anything. It was just a tune-up. So I do think it's a bit of an exaggeration to the card ever, and things like that. Us older fans will remember back in the 90s, Don King used to put on cards in stadiums where there was like 5 world title fights, so including a couple of the top pound for pound fighters in the world. So until you get to that level, you can't start talking about all-time great events, but nevertheless, still a great event. And I guess from here, it's look forward. AJ, I guess he's going to have to wait to see how the Fury and Usyk fight plays out. As for Daniel, world's his oyster. He's going to take some beating. He's not invincible. No fighter is, but I think we've seen he can take a hell of a shot. He can come back with his own big shots. He's young in his prime. So, there's going to be some great fights for him next year. Heavyweight division's thriving. But as for the other guys like Tyler Denny, Tyler Denny, although he lost, as we were discussing, I thought it was soft, but he can get back in the domestic mix. A lot of good fighters at middleweight in the UK scene. And as for Hamza, I think no more of these sort of fights. It's got to be a world title fight next. Whatever Alim Khanoulia or Adames wants, His Excellency, just pay him. It's their retirement fund. Let them have their retirement fund. You got a new star on the block. So, and again, obviously, Boazzi had a good win. But from here on, come on, big fights only, no more tune-ups and what have you. So that's how I assessed Saturday. Great event. Great to have Wembley filled out like that. So, Yeah,
no, obviously, big up to you, Ra, and it was an absolute pleasure just to, share that moment with yourself and the rest of the family. Obviously, big up to Mr. Neutral there on the right, wearing the D-Rock trackie with the champion in the middle, and with Eric on the right as well. Big up to him. It was, overall good event. Just to those fans that said it was a bit of a fluke and, making a lot of excuses for AJ, I just think it was just a bad day in the office. Don't think he's on that trail of retirement just yet. If you've got Joe Joyce, who's about 39, still fighting, why are they telling, Joshua at 35 to retire? I don't think it's that time. But if he's still hungry, he still wants to compete, let the man compete, man. So I'm not really the man to say, this boxer should retire. And, if he's still got that fighting spirit, let him continue, man. I just think Daniel Dubois on the night was just a better fighter, wanted it more. So all these talks of juju and curses and all this stuff, just let's not do this, man. The better man won on the night. Let's not take away what Dubois achieved, man. I think it was a tremendous feat. A lot of people doubted him, but, he proved a lot of people wrong, man. So credit to him. I'm sure he proved Turkey wrong as well, because if you look closely, I think if you look closely at this picture, Turkey was not happy about the result. And he's had to swallow potentially a pill that, just acceptance. Dubois is just his time.
Listen, the only fight that he could have put on that would make back some of the money they've put into the game is Fury v AJ, and it just keeps getting thwarted at every turn. But hey, listen, timing's everything, Turkey. You came into the game 5 years too late. 5 years ago when AJ, Wilder and Fury were in their prime. That's when we needed you. So now you're going to have to be patient and wait for the next superstars. But as you said, I agree with you on two fronts. A, there's no reason to talk about retirement if a fighter wants to carry on fighting, unless there's clear signs he's shot. And the other thing, of course, is you don't need to overanalyze how bad the A side or the star was. Sometimes they weren't particularly bad. The other guy was just brilliant. I just think maybe style-wise, Daniel was always all wrong for AJ. There's a reason why there's all those sparring stories that as a 17-year-old he rocked AJ. Maybe he always just has the style and the tools to be AJ's worst one. So, yeah, let's see where they both go next year.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, we don't want to spend too much time on Triple D and AJ, but obviously, big up to Triple D. Raw, this is obviously where it becomes interesting because for me, I see you as the OG in the boxing media space, and I just wanted obviously to ask you a question: what events are you looking forward to this weekend? Where you going? And just let the people know about where you potentially be over the weekend.
Yeah, over on Punchout Boxing already a bit of content from today's press conference for the Wasserman show on Friday night at York Hall. Interesting fight. Got Charlie Edwards challenging Thomas Asomba. I think it's a really fascinating fight. It's the European bantamweight title fight. But of course, Thomas Asomba is managed by Sonny Edwards. So you've got his own brother in the opposite corner, so that adds a great bit of spice to it. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight and very interesting because I think the winner will be in line for a crack at one of the Japanese bantamweight champions. All 4 title holders are in Japan. So you know, I love an exotic foreign holiday involving some boxing. So if we get some Brits to go over there and challenge, yeah, I'm all over it. So, but yeah, I think that's really fascinating. And bantamweight's an interesting division, even domestically. Some of the young prospects coming up, they're at bantamweight. You still got guys like Paul Butler. Now that Inoue is the coast's clear from Inoue, he's moved up. A lot of these guys might have a chance at bantamweight. So yeah, let's. I would advise everyone watches it Friday nights, free on Channel 5. No subscription, nothing like that. I think it's going to be a good fight. So I'll be going to that, and of course on Saturday back to York Hall, our friends at TM14 Promotions and Nielsen Boxing in conjunction with them. They're putting in another great small hall show. Couple of area level title fights, which are often bangers. So yeah, 2 small hall shows that I'll be going to this weekend, and of course. Up in Sheffield, GBM Sports on Friday night. They've got a great show. That middleweight fight between Shaquille Thompson and Wilson Bent. That's a fascinating one because, as I said, middleweight in Britain is actually looking to be really hot. You could have so many fighters, like a round robin. You could have a tourney. Obviously, you got the British champ Brad Pauls, the guy who beat Nathan Heaney. He's in there. Troy Williamson's moved up. Tyler Denny, he'll be back competing with them guys. Linus Udofia, Kieran Conway, the guy who's the mandatory for him. So there's loads of middleweights in Britain who are all about the same level. I think it makes for a great scene. Whatever you want to say about the world scene, the domestic scene is going to be good. So yeah, a couple of great fights domestically there.
No, I definitely agree with you, and big up to you, Ra. That's one of the things that you don't really get credit for is, your passion, enthusiasm. You're out there, going to these events. It doesn't have to be the major events, but you're also supporting, some of the grassroots shows as well. Obviously, big up TM14 Promotions, Nielsen Promotions, just the fact that they're doing collaborations, getting that inspiration from, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn. Turkey's creating that culture of collaborations. And big up to Jams as well. Jams obviously in the chat. Him. And also big up to Lucy all the way from the States. She's obviously saying, I don't think Sonny and Charlie get along too well. Ra, I'm going to throw that over in your direction. What's the relationship like between the two? Is it just competitive sibling rivalry, or is it just,
You know what? I think a lot of it's for the cameras because at the press conference today, I was the last one there. And so once all the cameras had been packed away, they were still, they were talking, perfectly normally. As familiar as brothers do. But that said, I mean, I unfortunately don't have any brothers, so I don't know what it's like. People who do have brothers tell me that when you're close in age to each other, there's always competitiveness. So I don't know if any of you guys who have brothers can shed some light on that. Apparently, when there's a big age gap, if you're like 10 years older than your brother, the relationship's different. It's more protective. But if you're very close, only a year or two apart, there's competitiveness. So there probably is a degree of competitiveness, but I don't think there's any real beef between them. And also, you got to remember, Sonny's just got this sort of naturally trolling personality about him. He's probably been trolling his brother his whole life. So,
no, I definitely agree with you, Ra, and that's what kind of brings the needle to the fight as well. Obviously, I've liked the way Channel 5 have promoted it. Wasserman Boxing, big up to them as well. I've obviously done some work, with them in the past through, my old ties with Ticket Pass. And I just love the fact that they're, giving fans, these free shows, on Channel 5. It just brings back that element of, you don't have to have a DAZN or a Sky Sports. You can just slap on, Channel 5, and you can get a decent fight, especially at European level as well. So big up to both of them. And obviously, Ra, we've got our last, possible 10 minutes. Of course, we've got two shows that we're gonna obviously discuss first. Actually, you go with the honors. Who you gonna go for first in terms of the card?
You're talking about the US cards, yeah? Top Rank. They got a really interesting card over there in New York. Our girl Sandy Ryan and Michaela Mayer. Really interesting little beef has developed. Mayer's saying Ryan stole her man, not her man as in her boyfriend or husband, but her coach. Yeah, so there's a little bit of soap opera there, and so there's now some beef. It says that Ryan went over there while she was away, got in with her coach, and now he's training her. So
the rest is history. The rest is history. So, Ron, you've interviewed Sandy before, isn't it? And you've also interviewed Michaela Mayer.
I've interviewed Michaela several times. Sandy, I've not interviewed. No, she's. I think she's definitely not very talkative. She does tend to do the minimal at these media events, so just fine. Michaela, I'm Team Michaela. She's given me compliments. You know how I lap that sort of thing up. So, it's going to be fascinating because I tell you what, one thing's for sure, they're both big welterweights. I was actually quite surprised the first time I saw Sandy Ryan. I thought, oh, wow, she's the same size as a lot of male welterweights. So, and when I see Michaela now, I think, how did you ever make super featherweight? You must have been like...
She was killing herself. I think she was killing herself, making her weight. And this is one thing you got to give her credit for, is she was obviously a champion at a lower weight. Baumgartner at that weight as well. And you think the fact that she was kind of shrinking herself to that point, now she's at more of a comfortable weight where, everything's filled up properly. She looks good. Sandy Ryan looks good as well. There's a bit of history between them two. I think what Michaela Mayer has been doing online is sending pictures of them two, when Sandy Ryan was like 17 or whatever. And I just like the back and forth between them two. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. It's more of a homecoming for Mayer. Sandy Ryan's obviously the defending champion that's going to the States. I respect her highly for just doing that, man. But if your money was on someone, who are you going for, man?
I think Mayer. I think with home advantage, not just geographic home, but the the promotional home girl, because this is a top-ranked show. I think she will this time get the decision. I think it will go close. It'll be really competitive. Again, the sort of fight that whoever loses will probably say they got robbed, but it'll probably be really, really competitive and really close. So I think Maya. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good choice. And Maya, for me, should win it, but I can't lie to you, I do like Sandy Ryan, man. There's something about her. I do like how she goes about her business. She's serious. You've seen her on social media as well in terms of what she's doing in the camps. I think it's absolutely tremendous. So big up to her.
Tell you what, Trey, there's a couple other fights on the undercard which are well worth watching. There's Shushu Carrington, #1 at featherweight. Shushu, he's going to be in a big fight soon if he gets through this. I think he's #1 for the WBA, which means we might see him go up against our Nick Hall next year. And the other kid, Xander Zayas, yeah, that Puerto Rican kid, he's 21 or 22. He's already ranked, in the top like 5 or 6 in all the governing bodies. He's going to be another new start in that 154 division, which, as you know, is just on fire. It's probably the best division in the game at the moment. So I'll be very interested to see how good he looks, because in the coming years, he's going to be in super fights against the likes of your Fendoras, your Ortiz Juniors, there's Conwell, Zoo. I mean, the names, we could reel them off. So look out for him. Puerto Rican descended. So, could he be the next Miguel Cotto? I think he could.
Definitely. I'm just excited. Obviously, Top Rank have got a cheeky card for us to watch, of course. And the coincidence as well is on the same night Michaela Mayer's fighting, you've got obviously Baumgartner defending her strap as well. So Brinks TV, that's a bit of a strange one. What's your views on her, fighting on that kind of platform as opposed to, some of the more major broadcasters?
Yeah, very strange. So it seems like the relationship with Matchroom's ended. No other major promotional outfit have picked her up, which is strange because she's marketable. She's produced the goods in the ring so far. Don't know what the reason is. A lot of the ladies in the sport are saying that the women's market is just nosedived at the moment for some reason. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyway, it is what it is. It's strange. This Brinks TV is giving me what was that one that Bud Crawford went on for one fight?
Oh yeah,
was it?
Was it Black Prime? Black Prime or something like that?
Prime, yeah. What the hell? I was going to call it Black Box, but that's Dean White's promotional outfit. But yeah, Black Prime. TV is giving me Black Prime vibes. Like, we've never heard of them, and we probably will never hear of them after this event. But I tell you what, I've been saying for quite a while, I think Pursoon, style-wise, is Baumgartner's worst nightmare.
Wow.
She's a high-volume fighter, yeah? And a couple of people have said, Baumgartner, she's highly explosive, but low volume. Certainly, Mayer said, if we have a rematch, I will gas her out. So if Baumgartner does have a gas tank problem, and she does have a very muscular body for a woman, which means she will be low volume, even though she's highly explosive, Pursoon is the one to do it. So I'm actually going for the shock upset win for Pursoon. I think Pursoon will win this. She will outpoint her. She might even stop her if Baumgartner is gassed out late.
Ooh, no, I love that, Ra, man. You always bring a different perspective into these things as well. Just before we obviously wrap up, of course, we obviously rounded up what's happening over the weekend But I wanted to just ask you just very quickly. This is like a little debate that should happen. With the women's boxing right now, it's obviously 10 rounds and it's 2 by 10 rounds, right? Would you increase any of those just so we can see more action, or is it fair the way it is right now?
Yeah, I mean it's fair because it's I mean it's the same rules for everyone, so you can't say it's not fair. But would it be better 3 minutes around? I think so, yes. And a lot of women in the game, they're saying they're happy with it. The only ones who don't seem keen to move up to 3 minutes is the real veterans, say someone like Tasha Jonas saying that. And that's fair because, you know, she's spent 20 years training just for 2 minutes. So at this late stage of her career, it would, yeah, you can't really expect her right at the end of her career to make that adjustment. But I certainly think for going forward, you know, the younger generation of girls who come through the Olympics, they're saying, yeah, you know what, make it 3 minutes and you will get more knockouts as well, because that last minute, that's often when, you know, they might hurt their opponent and they're tired enough that they can get them out. So I think that's the way to go forward. But certainly the WBC have already said they're resistant to it. So we'll have to see how the powers that be, how they decide on that.
Yeah, no, definitely, I agree with you. I would just kind of if I was to kind of change something, I would say I would love at least, because it's 10 rounds, at least 3 minute 10 rounds, man. Just because I always feel that 2 minutes goes by so fast to the point where I don't think fighters, especially the women, can implement a proper game plan because it's only 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's just
with 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
or something. You could be a bit more strategic. You kind of have to just be fast in all of the sort of 2-minute rounds, man. But to be honest, man, let's see what happens, man. Especially with these kind of fights that's happening, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of action. Any knockdowns in this fight? You're going to see any knockdowns?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. They both measure up pretty much the same in terms of size. I don't think either have ever shown particularly great power. So I don't think that'll change on Saturday night.
Definitely. Ra, I know the football's about to start. Man United are playing. Obviously, I'm a Man United player, so I'm gonna go and support the lads. But yeah, Ra, thank you so much for stepping in, for joining me, for doing this tremendous show. We obviously always like your perspective of things as well. So guys, make sure that you're following Ra on Punchout Boxing in terms of the content that he puts out there. Follow Ra on his Instagram as well. He's got constant variety of different interviews with different people, and he brings his perspective and asks the right questions as well, man. So big up to Ra, big up to the whole of the Punchout Boxing family. And Ra, just tell people where they can follow you, man.
Yeah, it's Ra_Hokum. So I'm on Instagram and Twitter. And of course, Punchout Boxing, we are on YouTube and Facebook. So 2 platforms there. So yeah, check us out.
Yeah, no, of course, man. Big up to you, Ra. Big up to the people. Thank you so much for tuning in. And obviously, we're going to have a few special guests over the few weeks. We've got a few interviews, few channels that's obviously going to be launching on this platform as well. So guys, just keep supporting, keep following the growth. And as we grow, you're going to grow with us, man. So big up to you. Big up to the whole of the community. And thanks for tuning in. Big up.
Evening all.
It's another bang. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I start my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a bag,